Halo Combat Evolved is one of my favorite games of all time. Now, I still remember as a kid on the Xbox 360 playing it with my sister. We'd drive those damn warthogs around the island. We would have done it for hours if my dad didn't force us to continue the mission. And when it was verbally announced that there'd be a remake coming, I was excited. I'm not someone who hates visual remakes. I know some people do. They think it ruins the purity of the original or some bullshit. I mean, just look at Demon's Souls. People hated that remake. That was my introduction to the Souls series. And even though now I think the original's visual style looked better, I still love the remake. You know, as long as it doesn't take the original away, I'm fine with it. I'm looking at you, Rockstar Games, with that GTA trilogy. So yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I be excited for this game? Well, I wasn't. In fact, when it was shown out for the first time, I thought that looked doo-doo balls butter buns. I mean, we knew they were going to Unreal Engine 5. They announced it shortly after Halo Infinite came out, I believe. And I think that was before Unreal Engine 5 really just became Unreal Slop 5. I think it's fair to call it that at this point, at least when it comes to people who don't use the engine correctly, which is most. From what I've seen, most people online thought it looked bad, at least the outspoken ones. On the recent trailers, there's been a lot of positivity in the comments. So maybe I'm just tripping. And I mean, it's not like people online aren't haters, okay? Most of the time, they're just haters. But me? No. Why would I be? I'm more likely to get this game than not. Think I want to waste $50? I don't make money off this YouTube shit. But look, I can't lie to myself. Something looks off with this game. I'm gonna try to identify that to the best of my ability, but look, I tried to think of one sentence that could describe my thoughts on this game, and I thought of one. If Bungie, when they made the first Halo, had Unreal Engine 5, it would not look like this. I believe that in my heart of hearts, but let's get into specifics. When it was announced, the screenshot I saw going around the most was one of an elite on the island level. And he just looked like he was not supposed to be there. In fact, if you told me that a fan made a couple assets in Unreal Engine, and that's what that screenshot was, I'd believe it. That shit could have been Photoshopped too. I mean, the elite does not look like he belongs in that environment. It's like if two different studios made the enemies and the environments, and then they just put them together like a couple of Lego pieces that don't really fit. And I mean, the environments themselves, they're not perfect either. They're really high fidelity and they're graphically impressive, but they just don't scream Halo to me. Maybe that's, it's hard to tell whether or not that's just because I'm used to the original and seeing it in high fidelity, you know, really detailed graphics is just something I'm not used to, but it lacks any unique identity. You know, the Rocks don't have character, dude. The Rocks had character in the first one. Quote me on that. The character of the Rocks is not up to par. And I mean, Unreal Engine 5 can be used in impressive ways. It can be a great engine. I mean, an example is The Finals, a game that I didn't even know was on Unreal Engine for the longest time because it ran well. Who would have thought? An Unreal Engine 5 game, and it had its own visual identity. Or you could take the Silent Hill 2 remake. That's an even better example because it's a remake, and it's a remake that was received really well, even by Silent Hill fans. A remake that I really enjoyed. And although I didn't play the original, from what I've heard, the original Silent Hill 2 fans were very happy with it for the most part. So it can be used in a remake context as well. And I mean Oblivion too, but Oblivion kind of had that feeling to it as well, you know? That Unreal Engine 5 feeling. And unfortunately, when I look at this remake, I see more Unreal Engine 5 than I do Halo. I'm not sure how people felt about the Halo Infinite visuals, but personally, I really like them. I know that everyone made fun of that screenshot of the Brute, but that was up close and earlier in development. I was happy with how the game looked. And if you were to give me a choice between this remake looking like Halo Infinite or looking like this Unreal Engine version of Halo, I would choose Halo Infinite without hesitation. Say what you want about the game, but the enemies look like they belong in that environment, okay? It looks natural. Nothing looked out of place to me, and I'd take less visual fidelity for a more coherent visual style than the opposite any day. But more specifically, when I compare them side by side, I think the biggest difference I see is that Covenant armor, the Covenant vehicles, you know? It all looks so pristine, so shiny. Emphasis on the word shiny, oh my god. It's like if you, shone a flashlight on Jeff Bezos's head. Blinding, blinding. I can't see. The Master Chief isn't perfect either, look. They have this new third-person mode. I will not be playing. But you get a better look at his armor there, and it looks a bit toy-like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of what I see. It's unfortunate that these words are about to exit my mouth, but he reminds me of how he looks in Fortnite. Coincidentally, that's another Unreal Engine 5 game. Why does he look more like Fortnite Halo Master Chief than he does Halo Combat Evolved Master Chief? And look, I think I can pinpoint the difference here. There's no wear and tear on his armor. No noticeable wear and tear on his armor. I'm gonna put a clip in of Halo Infinite and then this game. It's night and day, in my opinion. And that's a problem with the vehicles as well. The tank looks like it's out the box. The Warthog has a little more wear and tear on it than the other ones, but it still looks pretty damn clean. But at least it looks better in game than it does on that bitch ass cover. That shit looks ass. And you know, speaking of wear and tear, guess what happens if you have, say, the Covenant armor and it has some wear and tear on it? It's less shiny. I think I might have solved all y'all's graphical problems. They just won an RTX showcase or some shit, dude. That's what they showed in that Halo Infinite Unreal Engine 5 demonstration. I remember they had a Covenant building and it was shiny as hell. But look, there are sections where the game looked really good. There was an elevator section. I thought it looked pretty great. And when it's darker out or when they're indoors, it looks much better than the outdoors. Probably because there's less light hitting the Covenant guys. But it's not always awful. But I've been watching a lot of gameplay. They released a 30-minute gameplay demo. So maybe I'm just starting to get used to it. And that'd be a good thing if you play the game and you get used to it. And then you can just enjoy it without being a cynical, critical little bitch. Annoying little bitch like I'm being right now. The atmosphere also does feel a little different. I mean, you can't deny that. But this is a lot harder to judge, especially when you're not playing the game yourself. You know, hearing the sounds, hearing the music. And I mean, visual style is a big piece of atmosphere. So they're kind of already losing in that department. But look, it's a hard thing to pinpoint, you know? It's a hard thing to replicate too, because sometimes atmosphere comes from just nostalgia or how old games used to feel and look. You know, things you can't really recreate. You can do a good enough job of it, but it's hard to get that exact feeling back. Sometimes impossible to get that exact feeling back. So I'll give them grace in this aspect. Music also adds a lot, and I'm sure that won't change much. I mean, in the trailer, you heard the dun-dun-dun-dun, and no matter how worried I am about the visual style, when I hear that, I can't help but get excited. But something that might break the immersion a little bit is the addition of a sprint button. Now look, I'm not up in arms about this, or as up in arms about this as a lot of people were when it was shown off. I think it looks unnatural, weird, janky, you know, all those kinds of words. And personally, I don't think it was the right decision to add this. And unfortunately, I will be using sprint, because if I didn't, my brain would probably explode from me actively choosing not to use a mechanic that would speed up my gameplay. My brain can't handle that. And to anyone saying, you control the buttons you press, you're a moron. Now we can get on to the best aspect, the gameplay. It looks like Halo, which is good. Something you'd expect, something you'd want from a remake. They're adding a bunch of new weapons like the battle rifle and the energy sword. I mean, who doesn't love the battle rifle and the energy sword? If you don't, you're no Halo fan. The vehicles also look good mechanically. I really want to get on a Banshee, you know, a Ghost. And shout out the tank too. That looked pretty cool, even though it looked like it was brand new right out the box, never seen combat in its life. Maybe it hasn't. But overall, I really don't have any worries about the gameplay, which is good because bad visual style can be made up for with good gameplay. There are also 3 new prequel missions, which we haven't seen that much about, but the description, I'm gonna read this off. Before the Events of Halo Combat Evolved, the Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson take part in Operation Meteorite, in which they infiltrate a mysterious Covenant ship on a clandestine assignment. Experience their fight behind enemy lines in the form of 3 all-new bonus missions included in Halo Campaign Evolve. Look, I never paid that much attention to the Halo story. Sue me. But after watching the story trailers for the prequel missions and the main game, I'm kinda tempted. Might start listening and paying attention. Lastly, I want to talk about the skulls. They're adding a lot of new skulls. I attempted Halo Lasso with my friend, and we didn't make it all that far. But with the addition of these new skulls, I feel like it's going to be a lot easier. At least it looks like it will be. And the fact that they're adding new skulls is really cool and something I didn't expect. And I assume you're going to have to do this to 100% the game, which is another thing. Look, dude, owning Halo Combat Evolved as a standalone game would be awesome. I can't do that. That is a major selling point of this game for me. I'll own the first Halo, even though it's a remake. I'll still own it as a standalone game, and hopefully I can 100% it without having to do 600 other achievements in the Master Chief Collection. I'm sure they're gonna put some bitch-ass multiplayer achievements in there, which is another thing actually. The fact that people are gonna be playing Halo multiplayer again, Halo 1 OG Halo multiplayer again, no matter how long it lasts, hopefully it lasts decently long. That's another super exciting aspect, but back to the achievements. I'm sure there are gonna be some bitch-ass moron, stupid multiplayer achievements because they never seem to learn that nobody likes those. But I hope to God these achievements are good, because owning Halo 1 as a standalone game and being able to 100% and see that little ribbon under it. Yes, I love that little ribbon under my games on Steam. My God, that's exciting to think about. But look, in the end, when you boil it down, it's still Halo. And from everything I've seen, which I've seen a good amount, the mechanics look good, the gameplay, the sounds, the music, it all seems great. And yes, it's not my favorite visual style, not my favorite looking Halo, not my favorite engine, but hopefully it's something I can get used to. And at the end of the day, if you told me you can either have this remake or none, I'd take it. The new missions are exciting. Owning it as its own standalone game and hopefully being able to 100% it is exciting. The addition of new weapons is exciting, and I'm a lot more excited for it than I was off of that first announcement. And they still have time. Just turn down the shine a little bit, y'all. Hey, turn RTX off. This is one game where you want RTX off. And I mean, if it's bad enough, hey, Steam got that 2-hour refund window for a reason. All right. See ya.